Just going to talk you briefly through my current practice as it stands. I'm sure this will evolve and change over time. But as it stands now, I start with lighting a candle, an incense stick. A white candle is normally used, but if there are particular deities that you want to appeal to, then in some traditions the different colour candles can be used also. I have my altar here, as you can see, with some statues, plants, half a coconut here with some shells in from Barbados, incense burner here, the charcoal diskin that I use to burn frankincense resin, and a little dish here with water in. So all four elements, earth, fire, wind and water, represented. The water can also represent a drink for the ancestors. So I normally begin either by listening to or playing some drums. So I might listen to some West African drumming on YouTube, just in the background as I'm lighting the candle, and the incense, the djembe might come out. And there's this bell here. So in some traditions, using a bell is a way to signal the start of the ceremonies and to invite and welcome the ancestors. I'll often also use sage, light sage, and use that to cleanse the space of any negative energy. And that can be done silently, or you might say some words to accompany that, you know, praying, asking, may this space be cleansed, any negative, toxic energy. As well as saging the altar in the space, and often the room before I start, I'll sage myself. And also, if you want, use Palo Santo, which, as well as cleansing negative energy, has the additional benefit of attracting and inviting positive energy and vibration. Then here we have Florida water. We have also Kananga water, which is more commonly used in Jamaica, but in lots of African-centered spiritual practices, Florida water is used. This has, you know, I could do a whole video on just the uses of this, but in this case I use it to bless the space of myself, to sanctify the space. And I do that by just splashing some in all four directions, north, south, east and west. Sometimes I'll offer some into the ancestral bowl there with the water, and I'll splash some on my head, on my arms. It's also great this for spiritual baths. Maybe I'll offer some, this is frankincense resin from Ethiopia. Offer some incense, charcoal disc there, as well as creating a beautiful fragrance of frankincense, which has really spiritual, calming, clarifying properties, making an offering here to the ancestors like a gift. bell again. You can use any vessels or containers at all for the libation ceremony. I often use this one, and then some other kind of vessel or container to pour the water in. And the way I've learned to do libation is to begin raising the glass. This should have some water in, but I've already done my practices this morning. Raise the glass and honour, either in your own head or out loud, the Supreme Being first, the divine creative energy that flows through all things. And you could call one of the names traditional African spiritual systems. In the Yoruba tradition, the Supreme Being is known as Olodumare or Olorun. In the Akan tradition, in Ghana and the Ivory Coast, there are different names for the Supreme Being, but probably the most common is Nyame. In West African Vodou, in Benin, Supreme Being, Mother Supreme Creator, is known as Nana Baluku, who gave birth to two twin spirits, twin deities, Maru and Lisa, who represent the male and female. Known as Ama, the Supreme Being in the Dogon tradition, or as Bondye in Haitian and New Orleans Vodou. So you honour that Supreme Being, and you lower the vessel often next some aspect of nature. In the Ghanaian tradition, Asasaya is the Mother Earth that's honoured straight after Nyame during libation ceremonies. Many rivers associated with your family are honoured. And then you move on to the deities, the archetypal energies that are the manifestations of Olodumare, the manifestations of the divine. Most commonly understood as the Orisha. That comes from the Yoruba tradition again, and which is spread to the diaspora. These energies, known as Orisha in the Yoruba tradition, are known in the Ghanaian Akan tradition as the Apazon. They're known in Benin in the Vodun tradition as Vodun, and then Haiti and New Orleans Vodou as Loire. And you can speak generally, just honour the Orisha, for example, or you can name them. Often as people progress on this path, I understand that they come to learn which Orisha has their head. It means, which one is the principal Orisha who's connected to them, wants to work with them in their life's journey. So if that's the case, if you know who that is, then you can obviously honour and pay homage to that particular Orisha. And then the ancestors, known as the Egun in the Yoruba tradition. And you can actually just keep it general, or you can name again specific ancestors who have passed or who you resonate with. You may choose to put pictures of your ancestors on the altar. And then express gratitude. Thank Supreme Being, the deities, your ancestors, for any blessings you perceive in your life, for any doors that have been opened, any lessons. And then finally, you make any requests. You pray for support, for guidance, for health, for abundance, for healing, for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community. And once you've finished, you might want to sit in silent meditation for as long as feels right. There isn't a massive emphasis on long periods of seating meditation in traditional African spirituality as there was in the Buddhist tradition that I was practicing in before this. But I do find it useful and helpful to sit in silent meditation. First of all, for all its many benefits, but also because having done this ceremony, the libation and the prayer, it maybe during that period that you receive some guidance and inspiration. And allow everything you've taken part in to settle and assimilate. At this point, I'll often offer some more incense. And say something about the sense of as the incense smoke rises, may to my prayers, affirmations, intentions and aspirations rise, be heard and be realised. I also will often drink a little of the libation water, saying something either in my head or out loud about as I drink some of this libation water, may I become one with prayers, affirmations, intentions and aspirations. May I embody them and may they be realised within and through me. I often offer some of the water to the ancestors in the bowl, the water bowl. Sometimes pour some into one of the plants or flowers as an offering to the earth. I will often keep some back, which I then take and pour at a tree, the oldest tree in my local park. I'll offer this libation water there and say a few words at that tree. Then the practice is over. I'll sometimes listen to or play some drumming. And then blow out the candle. I haven't done it today, but you can also offer food items, drinks, sweets, chocolates to the ancestors on your altar, especially if there's anything you particularly know that they enjoyed or liked and was connected to their country of origin and culture. You might offer things like that on the altar too, and then refresh them weekly at least. And those offerings, when I refresh them, if they're edible or biodegradable, you might take them to the tree also and leave them there. I hope this helps. This is just a snapshot of an evolving practice on this journey. I'd love to hear any comments, thoughts, feelings, reflections that come up watching this, any suggestions. I'm very much on the journey when I'm learning this myself, so gratitude to you for watching and have a great day.